Good afternoon, everyone. Thank
Hi,
you for
guys.
coming. So, you saw the video. I don't know what else to add on that. You're probably asking, how are we going to attack this? And it's actually, the easy part is, for those of you who saw the filmed live version of Broadway's Newsies, Disney's Newsies on Broadway, I mean. The easy part was, the directive from Disney was, you can't copy anything from that. So, we can't copy the set, you can't copy the exact costumes, although we are limited by the era, which is turn of the century. And we can't copy choreography. And because my set will be totally different, I can't copy blocking. So, we created our own, and it was, I think, a very, very extensive process, especially with our set designer, Ed Lacson Jr. He presented one set that got rejected from the 9 Works stage, I think, and then he presented a second set, which Joe also kind of rejected, and then we finally presented one to Disney, and they also had their comments. So all in all, we had like 5 or 6 submissions for the set alone. We can't show you that because we really want to wow you with that set. And it's a set we're really, really proud of because it's unique. It's never been done on any Newsies production in the world. And that set, aside from helping us tell the story, it kind of challenged PJ's work as well as the choreographer. I need to emphasize that PJ, as the choreographer, is, for me, probably even more important in this show because it's really 95% dance. And I'm just here to tell people to stay on the right side or on the left side.
It's PJ. No naman, he also tells me if the choreography doesn't work.
Well, yeah.
So he has to tell me if it works or it doesn't.
Actually, sometimes I'm like, parang kulang pa. Well, I can't tell him what to do. So he goes, okay, let's try this. It's actually an interesting process, and
It is.
I think it will be fun if you can drop by rehearsals, kind of one by one or by your groups, and just arrange with John and Isa and our entire PR team. And, you know, we would be glad for you to get a glimpse because this process is very different even for PJ and I because we also work in Lakash, which is also a dance musical. But because the challenges of this show was, wow, really, really enormous. In terms of the dance, I'm going to let PJ talk about the details. There were already some that were expounded on in the video, but PJ will have more insights for that. All I can say is, if you saw the Broadway production or the film production, it's going to be very different from that. Very, very different. Even the way we are attacking some of the characters. I don't know if we need to get permission for that, but I just thought about it and I didn't go to Chicago with Joe and Sandy because I didn't want to watch before blocking the show. So when we brought in that live filmed live production, tapos yung trabaho ko nun eh. So I watched it. PJ still didn't because his job as a choreographer wasn't done. And both of us don't want to be influenced by productions. That happened also with American Idiot. My entire team watched it in London. I was the only one who said, no, we're gonna do that. I don't want to watch it. So, where was I? Yeah, we're doing really something different. Even the attacks. I would discuss with PJ. I was going, you know that character, why did he do this? Why did he do that? I don't think you should do that. Because I take into consideration my audience. And there are things that I think we will fall for more. Like the love story, those things. Anyway, I don't want to offend Americans in the... We're very warm. So I'm building on that as well. As a people. Anyway, more on the dance. PJ?
Okay, just a quick thing. Training ground, that was day 1. I happened to teach day one, but Training Ground was a team of people that helped shape our cast. And I really have to mention our assistant director, who's not here right now because he's doing a show, Franz Imperial, who was also spearheading the program with us. He was giving classes in musical theater and voice. We had the voice teacher in Lionel Guico and Ronan from UST. We got acting coaches. Robbie gave acting classes as well. And it was a whole team effort. And I have to mention that there's additional tap choreography in the show for King of New York, which opens Act 2. And we had an intensive on collapse, shuffles, pops throughout the process. And Yek Barlongay was with us all the way. And tonight, after today, even if our cast is tired, we will be rehearsing 4 hours just fixing King of New York tonight. So I have to mention them, and we have to give props to that whole team that put together Training Ground. For 6 weeks, we focused on ballet, jazz, and tap because that's a vocabulary we want to use. It was hard for us to actually decide on how to start the whole process because we had to take a different perspective. So we used the storytelling to bring it forward, and eventually we decided within the second week of rehearsals that we were going to show the Newsies as the cast of survivors. They are the immigrants from New York who are either orphaned or don't find jobs elsewhere, and they have to survive the top streets of a new city. It's an immigrant town, and we want to picture them as survivors, as the underdogs in a city where dreams are possible. And that's where the choreography.
And that said, I told them, even though they're learning all of these things that make them really look good, ballet, for example, in such a classical form. I said, but these are street kids. So how does that affect their ballet? Because obviously we can't really have nice, clean. Well, if I do it, it doesn't look nice and clean. But if PJ does it, it can't be that ano. So, dun pa lang, we already had an image of the kind of dance that we were going to adapt for the show. There will be ballet steps, there will be jazz steps, there's tap, there's acrobatics and all that. But the execution is largely based on the foundation, which is the storytelling. And we always go back to that. We attack each number and we say, what are we trying to say in this number? How does it contribute to the story? Because if this doesn't contribute to the story pushing forward, then it better be a showstopper of a number. So the storytelling, the show stops because we want to just wow you. And we've already considered 2 to 3 numbers that will do exactly that. The rest, the goal is just to really keep the story flowing. Any more to add?
They can check it out later. There's going to be a small glimpse of it in a bit.
In terms of treatment, my keyword, I always have a keyword for my shows. My keyword for Newsies was dance. So anything and everything that had to do with dance had to help tell the story. So treatment-wise, if they dance, my goal is you should be on their side. If they don't dance, they're the bad guys. If they're not yet dancing, I want you to be unsure of that character until that person starts dancing, then you're on his or her side as well. Yun lang, that's the simple thesis, treatment, whatever, choo-choo. And I hope it works. I hope that helps us define the show. It's because of this, actually, that we were able to come up with our own version. And we didn't have to rely on what has been done before. As a matter of fact, after we watched, there was only one showing of the filmed live Broadway production. And I thought I was going to, start asking the question, what did I get myself into again? But I actually said, okay, we're fine. And when Joe saw that, and he said, are you good or are you worried? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm actually more than good. We're fine. We're gonna have a great show. So it's gonna be different, but in a very, very good way. In a very, very different way. I don't think you'll be able to compare both productions, which is good.
I'd also like to add that our cast is a mix of people from very disciplines, and we're really thrilled that they've also inspired us as to how to push the story forward. Because when we decided on casting, it also decided how we push the story forward, who gets that role, and what kind of energy they bring to the show. And then we try to highlight their strengths as well with each role.
Yeah, when we watched the production together, the one thing I told the cast was, do not let the actors' interpretation of their characters sway how you picture your character, because you're gonna create it yourself, or we're gonna create it together. And luckily, or what's good is they did, and it's a good thing. It's very different. It's very, very different. That's it. So yeah, thank you again.